Hi BookTube, Sarah here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with a vlog, if you couldn't tell that from the title. Yes guys, a weekly reading vlog. Isn't that exciting? So I posted this, I just posted this as like a question in the community area for my channel on YouTube. I haven't had any votes yet, but I'm going to go with it anyway because, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys are not going to complain about vlogs. I know a lot of people love them. I love watching them. And, you know, I think I needed a break for a bit and step away from them. I do miss not doing, like, when I did it over the holidays, it was kind of nice, even though I kind of forgot a couple days, but I've got to get back into the swing of doing it again. So I don't think these will be a lot of out and about, this is what I was doing today. They'll be more just like this. At the end of the day, I sit down, this is what I read today, this is what I enjoyed. So one of the big reasons that I stopped doing them originally, well, there was two major reasons. One was because they do take some time to edit. So instead of, and how I edit, for those of you who might not know, is when I have videos that I put the picture in here, I actually have to run it through two different softwares. Like each video has to go through two different software. And when you have multiple clips in a video, like vlogs, you know, you do a different like clip every day. So I'm running each of those clips, through the first program once to add the pictures, and then a second time through Windows Movie Maker to put it all together, to do the, I think I could probably do it all in the first program, but it's not very user-friendly. I know how to add pictures to it, and that's about it, and that's really all I need to know. So I'm not going to be doing that now. Instead, I've got my handy-dandy tablet, so I can bring the pictures up on here and just show you guys, and that'll be awesome. The other reason that I stopped doing them was because I was getting a lot of review books, and I still am. I'm actually getting more review books now than I was back when I stopped doing the vlogs before. And the reason I stopped doing those is because, like, these like weekly vlogs, is because I didn't want to do these separate review videos. And I decided this year, one of my goals, if you watch my goals video, is that I wanted to do written reviews. For all the review copies that I get, I want to do written reviews. So I thought, I'm doing written reviews. That's kind of what the publishers really want. So, you know, I'll have my blog up and running. There's a couple that I'm a little bit behind on. I've got to get going on that. It's been a little bit of a busy the first week of January. I have some news. I will share that towards the end of this little clip. And yeah, so I'm going to be doing those. So I don't really need this to be giving a review. I mean, of course, I'm going to be talking about the books when I finish them, what I thought about them. I'll give my review rating. But for the publishers, I'm going to be posting my reviews on Goodreads, on my blog. I'll post them on Amazon or wherever else they're asking you to post them. So, you know, I'm happy to do that. And I think it will work better in the long run. Because I love this more casual sit down and chat. And yes, this is exactly what I do on my Friday reads. This is exactly what I do on my weekly reviews. But I've noticed on the weekly reviews videos, they do not, and again, I'm not saying I'm doing this just for the views, but I think more people enjoy this than the reviews. Does that make sense? So I want to bring you guys content that you want to see. And that's pretty much, you know, the end all be all of it. So yes, not promising these are going to stay forever, but I kind of really love just the casual atmosphere. And this is going to sound really, really silly to some of you, but I really did miss Sunday mornings sitting down and doing all these clips and putting them together. It was like a couple hours on a Sunday morning. I know that sounds like a lot of time for some of you guys, but I really enjoyed that editing process. I'd sit here knitting on a sock, you know, while a video was not uploading, but like, you know, processing or whatever. I'd throw my earbuds in and I'd listen to an audiobook, drink my coffee, and I really miss doing that. It's silly because I'm very much a creature of habit. I love routine. I thrive on routine. If you change up my routine, I'm not happy. You know, like, for example, on Tuesday, I had to go down to the hospital for my pre-op appointment. And I had to leave my house at like 6:30 in the morning. I don't usually leave my house till like 7:45. So because I had to literally get up, get dressed, and go, I was not a happy camper because I didn't get to sit here and have my coffee. I didn't get to sit and knit on my sock. You threw me off of my routine. I don't like it. It not gives me anxiety, but it gives me a slight bit of anxiety when I know something like that is coming up. Um, also because I had that appointment, I was missing a few hours of work. So I told my boss, no problem, I'll make up my time. I'll just not take a lunch for a couple days, which is what I did. Totally threw me off. I'm like, I don't get to sit and read and eat my lunch. I got to eat my lunch at my desk, and I was working away to make up my time. But again, I'm a creature of habit, and I love habit. I love knowing that this is what I'm going to be doing. And it's not even something I realized about myself until about the last 5 or 6 years, which is odd. Like in my late 30s, it's something that I realized how much of a creature of habit I actually am. So yeah, again, that might seem like a silly thing to be able to sit and edit a video is enjoyable, but it was habit forming for me. I mean, I did those vlogs for a good long time. And I was going back and looking at my old videos on BookTube, and I'm like, yeah, they got a lot of views. People really like the vlogs. So here we are, guys. So did I say what day it was? I don't think so, because at the start of this, I started filming this, and then Bernard decided it was time to scratch up his Amazon box that he sleeps in right beside me. So it is the 9th of January. It is about 8:15 at night. So it is Thursday. This vlog should have, if I'd been on the ball, should have started on Sunday. So you're going to get just a few days for this week's vlog. Next week's we'll be starting again on Sunday, and we'll go to Saturday. So I first of all, before I get into anything else, I want to share with you guys the 3 books that I've already finished this week, which is something I would have already talked about if I'd been filming since Sunday. So first book that I want to share with you guys, I actually have a physical copy of it right here, Made for Marriage by Helen Lacey. This is a Harlequin special edition novel. This is from 2012, I think it is, and I ended up giving this book 4 stars. This was really, really cute. So this is the story of, I can look at the back of the book, you silly girl, Callie and Noah. And this one actually takes place in Australia. I'm not exactly sure what area in Australia. It's a rather big country, but it's in Australia. And our main character, Callie, is a equestrian rider, and she's also an equestrian rider teacher. And she was born and raised in California. She competed in California. She met a man who was quite a bit older than her, kind of took her under his wing, was training her. It was all about her riding and how good she was. But then, of course, they formed a relationship. And I don't want to get into what it was, but something happened that was utterly devastating to her. And she lost him. That's all I'm going to say. The boyfriend, if you will. So she's grieving for a few different reasons. Again, I don't want to get too much into it. You guys need to read the book. But she heads back off to Australia. I say back to because her dad was actually born in Australia. And he used to bring them there every couple years, like her and her mother, for vacations and things like that. So she's familiar with the area. It's not like it's like a major foreign country to her. So she is back there, and she's opened up an equestrian school, and she meets Noah. Noah is the father of Lily, who is a 12-year-old girl with a major chip on her shoulder, more like a boulder. This girl's mom left when she was younger, a few years earlier, and she has kind of gone into a grunge phase. She dyed her hair black. She's got these piercings, and I mean, she's only like 12 or 13, and I thought, who authorized you to get those piercings? Because I'm pretty sure if you're under a certain age, you need adults, an adult to sign off on it, kind of an idea. But that's neither here nor there. She dresses all in black. She's got a horrible attitude. And at the very beginning of the book, when Callie and Noah meet, Lily has shown up for her riding lesson, but she's hours early. And Callie's like, okay, literally shows up at Callie's front door first thing in the morning. Callie's not even awake yet. So she says to her, like, let me get dressed, go outside, we'll just start the lesson early. Like, just wait here on the porch for me, and I'll be right back. So Callie, of course, comes out. Lily is gone. She has taken it upon herself to get on one of the horses. And the horse got spooked because the bridle wasn't on tight enough and kind of dumped Lily. She didn't get hurt. Like, it was more like one of those shock falls, like, oh my gosh. Like, she fell off the horse onto her tailbone, kind of an idea. And that's exactly the moment when Noah shows up. So he considers Callie to be a bad teacher. She doesn't know how to deal with children, you know, after one incident. So over the course of the novel, the two of them kind of go back and forth with each other. She has a difficult time with his kids, not because they're bad kids. I mean, you know, Lily's got some things she needs to work on, but his other three kids are really good kids. But, you know, she has something in her past, again, I don't want to mention, about children that is kind of holding her back from these kids. Yeah, it was a really sweet story. I really enjoyed it. I love the horse aspect of it. I did ride for one summer when I was in, I think I was 13 or 14 that year. I took equestrian lessons, and I like to fancy myself as someone who knows how to ride a horse. If you put me on a horse now, I'd be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But I do love, I think like every little girl at some point in our lives, I loved horses. So that one was a really good part of that. That's something I really enjoyed in this book. And yeah, this one was a lot of fun, and I do recommend it. I have no idea if it's available as an ebook. I'm pretty sure that it would be, though. So if you get a chance to, go ahead and check it out. The next one that I finished, let me tell you the book, and then I'll bring up the cover. Okay, so let me just go to, bear with, guys, bear with. The next book that I finished this week was Tempted in the City by Joe Lee. This is a Harlequin Blaze novel. It is the first book in the New York City Bachelor series. And this is the story of, can I remember their names without looking? Kat and Tony. Kat and Tony. So, this, obviously, New York City Bachelors takes place in New York City. And Tony runs he's the oldest son of a family that runs a construction company, or what's the word I'm looking for? Contracting company. And his father ran it, his grandfather ran it, his father's now had some health issues, so Tony, as the oldest, has taken over. And Kat is their newest client. She has an old brownstone in the heart of Little Italy that she's redoing, essentially gutting it and redoing it. But she wants it to look how it used to look. She wants to, you know, bring it back to its original charm, kind of an idea, and try and do as many things that were authentic to the building at the time it was built, instead of making it modern, essentially. So this is their relationship. It is a Blaze novel. It gets very, very hot and spicy, as these tend to do. The romance between the two of them was really sweet. I really liked it. They had a lot of external forces, kind of working against them. You know, the fact that it was like a client, you know, the contractor and the client kind of a relationship. You know, should he really be sleeping with her when he's, you know, installing her flooring, kind of an idea, and that wasn't a euphemism. They also, because it's in Little Italy, there's very much a community aspect where everybody knows everybody else, and everybody is part of, like, you know, they all know each other's families and things like that. And her house, Kat's new house, is actually situated between these two very gossipy older Italian women who are watching all the comings and goings, no pun intended, going on within the house. So, you know, and they have a few choice words because Kat is an Italian. And Tony at one point was married, and they ended up divorcing for various reasons that they get into within the book. But his ex-wife, Angie, was, you know, the good Italian girl. She knew how to cook. She knew how to do this. And, of course, these older Italian women were kind of looking down their noses at Kat because, you know, she wasn't part of the fold, essentially. Kat also is an interpreter for the UN, which I just thought was super awesome. Like, what an amazing job. I really, really love that. Yeah, so this one was really fun. I did read this one on ebook, so it is available on ebook if you want to go and check it out for yourself. But again, as I said, really hot and spicy, as the Blaze novels tend to be. But it was still a really delightful story, and I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving this one 4 stars, in case you guys were curious. And the last book that I finished so far this week, we still have a few more days, you guys. I loved this book so much. Walk Me Home by Liza Kendall. This is the first book in the Silver Lake Ranch novel. This was an e-arc that I got from the publisher. Bear with here. I believe this was from Berkeley, but please don't quote me. I absolutely adored this story. I thought it was awesome. My only complaint is that dog on the cover, as adorably cute as it is, looks nothing like the dog pictured in the book. And the dog actually belongs to our main character's brother. So our main character, Charlie, is our female lead, and Jake is our male lead. And this is a second chance romance. The two of them knew each other or dated when they were in high school. I mean, quite young. Jake had his parents passed when he was quite young, and he's got 2 brothers and a sister. And so the siblings were essentially left as orphans. So their oldest brother, who was of age, kind of looked after them. And and Jake became good friends with Brandon, who was Charlie is short for Charlotte. Charlie's brother Brandon, and they befriended each other. And he began spending a lot of time over at Brandon's house. And the Nash family, Charlie Nash is our female lead. She comes from a rather well-to-do family. They lived in a mansion, essentially, and it was her parents, her brother, and her grandparents lived all in this house together. And her father, I think, has MS. Her father has MS, so he's in a wheelchair. So, as I said, Jake was spending a lot of time with the family growing up, and to the point where eventually he kind of just moved in. He was given his own room, he was there every day, but then when the relationship started with Charlie, her parents kind of sat him down and said, this isn't appropriate. You guys are living under the same roof. Maybe, perhaps, if you want to pursue the relationship, you're going to have to go back to your own home, kind of an idea. And he was really upset about that. So the next day he came over to kind of talk to them. And a fire had broken out at this mansion. And Jake ran in and actually tried to save Charlie's grandmother. And unfortunately, Charlie's grandmother passed away as a result of the fire. But then since that day, which when they were about 16 years old, they're now in their early 30s, late 20s, early 30s, Jake has always, he was blamed right from the beginning for starting the fire, that he was mad that the family kicked him out, essentially, and he set the fire purposefully. Do you know what I mean? You find out the truth of what actually happened as you read through the book. This was so delightful. I loved the small town atmosphere of it. Lila, who is Jake's sister, she runs a wedding planning business, and the other B plot of this novel is that they are dealing with this bridezilla who is actually marrying Charlie's cousin Will. And so you get a lot of her dealing with that, this bride changing her mind every time. This is also, for those of you who are curious, I am recommending this to everybody because it's a clean romance. There is one night that Charlie and Jake spend together. It is all behind closed doors. You get nothing graphic on the page. So this would be a novel, and I think I talked about this in my my year-end wrap-up, that this would be the kind of novel that I would happily lend to my mom or grandmother if my grandmother was still around. That I could feel comfortable, that they wouldn't feel uncomfortable reading it. Do you know what I mean? It was absolutely delightful, and I was so thrilled this week, you guys. I was approved for the second book in the series, Through NetGalley, so I'll be reading that. I think it comes out in March, and I cannot wait. So the series, I believe, is going to go through the 4 siblings. Jake, his sister Lila, their brother Everett, and Declan. So very, very exciting. I cannot wait. There is a dog in this story. I'm trying to remember now. I'm getting confused because in this book, she also had a golden retriever. So, which story had the golden retriever? But I'm pretty sure that in this one, the only dog that you really see, his name was Grouchy. And because they said he looked like Oscar the Grouch. It was really cute. There were some really funny bits, some really poignant moments. I gave this one 4.5 stars, guys. I absolutely recommend it. So that is all that I finished this week so far. So as you guys know, if you've been following my weekly reviews, I'm going to do this now. I now started getting mini skeins out of my big, that's way up top on top of my bookcase. I put it out there so it's out of the way. But every time I finish a book from my original TBR, this was not on my original TBR. This is just one that I pulled off the shelf behind me to read, just at random. I'm going to open up one of these, and each one contains a mini skein that I'm going to add to my blanket. So for my knitting, I'll show it to you guys on Saturday. It'll be the last thing that I show you on the vlog. So that way, if there's people who are not interested in watching the knitting part of it, you can just tune out. So that'll be the last thing I'm going to show you guys. But I'll probably add these in before then. So we'll start off with Tempted in the City because, and I don't know what these are. I literally just wrote the name on here and stuck the minis in, and Bob's your uncle. So I have no idea what's in any of these. So this one is, it's kind of my treat for finishing the book. Do you know what I mean? Ooh. Oh, it kind of goes with the cover too, doesn't it, you guys? With the reds and the blacks. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that'll be nice. So that's going to be the next one. So put that over there. And then the one for Walk Me Home. It's the same with the Back to My Childhood books. If I have not finished, you know, like those ones were not on my original. Oh, it's one of the Scooby-Doo ones, you guys. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you mentioned in that video that this one's Fred, I think. It's either Fred or the Mystery Machine. Sorry, that's Gordon complaining. So that'll be next. Yay. And a lot of these are big enough that I'm actually going to probably get 2 squares out of each of them. So what I'm doing is when I'm done the mini that I'm putting in there now, I'm rolling up the rest of it and putting it in a little baggie. And when I run out of minis, of having the minis that I already have, then I'll start pulling the duplicates, which I'm fine with. The blanket's going to be massive anyway. No one's going to be sitting there going, oh, that one's the same as that one. It's a big scrappy blanket. It's meant to be like all over the place. So yeah, so there's my minis. So thank you for letting me share those. So before I oh, what am I currently reading today? Where'd I put it? My next physical book that I'm currently reading is The Doctor's Texas Baby by Deb Kastner. This is a love-inspired book. I am 2 chapters into it. I am very much enjoying it. It is a second chance romance with a secret baby. Even though this isn't inspirational, they had a relationship 3 years ago. She then found religion or her faith after leaving him because he wanted to be a vet that kind of travels to like third world countries to help people take care of their animals or teach them how to take care of their animals. So she felt that she would hold him back. She knew she was pregnant. She felt that he would do the right thing of, you know, and stay with her and not travel the world and do all these things. And she ends up back in town for circumstance and finds out he never left. And, you know, of course, the very first day they end up meeting. And of course, the kid looks exactly like him. So that's the point I'm at now. Like I said, I am enjoying it. It's a fun read. Do I have pictures of the other books that I'm currently reading? Oh, I didn't think about doing that, guys. Sorry. Let's see what I have here. Currently on audio, I am listening to, I don't think I have a picture of it. Sorry, guys. I won't have a picture of this. You'll see it tomorrow. Still the One by Jill Shalvis. I am currently listening to. I'm about 80% of the way through it. My goal is to get that one done tomorrow. I've been reading that since the beginning of the month. So it'll be 9 days to get through an audiobook. So again, as I mentioned, audiobooks I'm not flying through the way I used to, which is fine. And as you're probably noticing, I'm not flying through books the way I used to either, which again, I'm fine with. You know, I still think I'm going to hit my 300. I mean, we're 9 days into the year. I've got lots of time. But I finished 5 books to date so far. But still, I still love my audiobooks, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not taking as much time to listen to them as I used to. So this is book number 6, I think, in the, oh my gosh, Sunshine, Idaho? That's not what it's called. The Animal Magnetism series. And I think I mentioned this in my weekly review when I talked about the book Wrapped Up in You by Jill Shalvis, which was book 7 or 8 in the Heartbreaker Bay. The main male lead in that story is a character from this series, the Animal Magnetism series, and he made an appearance in this book. It was in passing. It was a mention that, oh, Sheriff so-and-so arrested so-and-so last night. And I'm like, I know that guy. I got his story. This is a slightly older series. It's really delightful, very, very adult, as Jill Shalvis tends to do. And it's about a woman who, in a previous book, like several books before, she was in a bad car wreck. And it's been about a year since then. And she has just learned how to walk again, but she's still dealing with a lot of pain, and you know, she still does her physical therapy, and it's essentially about her and the relationship with her physical therapist, and it's delightful. Darcy is one of my favorite characters that Jill Shalvis has ever written. I love her spunk, I love her attitude, all these things. And yeah, so like I said, I'll get this one done tomorrow, so I'll talk about it more in depth then. And the other book I just started today is called Cold Nose Warm Heart, and it's by Mara Wells, and it is so cute, you guys. Oh my gosh, I'm like 2 chapters into it. I got a little bit of reading on it done at lunch today, and it's about a woman named, I think it's Riley, and she is the superintendent of this building, this this apartment complex in South Florida. So it takes place in Florida, which is delightful. And it's a very old building. It's all seniors who live in this building, including her grandmother. And she kind of takes care of them, and she's like another granddaughter to most of them and things like that. And then this gentleman by the name of Caleb, I can never say that name, Caleb, comes in, and his grandfather actually owns the building, but nobody knows that right now. And he is essentially going to be kicking out all the tenants and turning it into like high-rise condominiums and turning the dog park across the street into a parking lot. So the two of them are obviously going to butt heads over this. It should be really good. It involves lots of cute dogs. She has a little like older, like a senior miniature poodle. And one of the neighbors has the big black lab that again, I don't have the picture here. You'll see it tomorrow. There's a big black Labrador Retriever on the cover. So yeah, this one is utterly delightful. It's so super, super cute so far. And I will report back more tomorrow on what I think about it so far. I probably won't get that one done for another few days. And last but not least, I am still reading my way through Dawn and the Big Sleepover, which is book 44, I think, in the Babysitters Club series. Tomorrow, I will be showing you guys my next Back to My Childhood book, and it's not what you're thinking. It's not going to be a Babysitters Club. It's not going to be a Nancy Drew, and it's not even going to be a Sweet Valley book. I have decided to participate in a year-long readathon, a book a month, and it is a book that I should have read in my childhood, but I did not, because I'm a bad Canadian. Have I intrigued you? You guys will see the video very, very soon, the next clip very soon, so you'll know what book it is. You'll find out. But yeah, so some of you are probably already guessing probably what it is. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to it. I ordered a copy of the book on Amazon, because why the heck not? So anyway, so that is all the reading and stuff like that. Like I said, I'll show you guys the knitting at the end of the vlog on Saturday. But for right now, the one thing I haven't talked about is the fact that I'm supposed to be going to the hospital tomorrow. And I'm not. I went on Tuesday for my pre-op, and that was a fun 3 hours. It's a long day. A lot of it, you're just sitting around waiting to see like the nurse, the anesthesiologist, things like that. You know, I've been through this twice before, so a lot of what they were telling me I already knew. And they even said that. They're like, been there, done that, bought the t-shirt kind of an idea. You know, any questions, anything at all like that, because some things change over 5 years since the last time I had it done. And the only thing they didn't give me when I left was what time I had to be at the hospital on Friday. And she's like, somebody will call you by Thursday. And I said, okay, great. So I'm at work yesterday on Wednesday, and I get a phone call from the hospital, and I'm figuring, okay, they're going to tell me what time I need to be there. And the nurse, she said she felt so bad. She goes, I have to rebook you because there was an emergency case that came in and I needed to be bumped. And I said, that is perfectly fine, because if I was the emergency, I'd want someone to bump me too. You know, if there's a pressing case coming in, that person deserves precedence, in my opinion. And it's not like what I can wait. It's, I'm still getting the palpitations pretty often. Mostly I notice them at night, and I talked to the nurse about that too. Excuse me. She says it's because you're laying down and you're relaxed. You can feel them more. So, you know, but she said it's not dangerous, right? I'm on medication to help control it. I can wait. I'm going in on the 28th of January, in case anyone is curious. It's a Tuesday. So I'm booking the entire week off. I booked the Monday, and I'm off until the Friday, because I just thought it was easier. I'm not going to go into work on the Monday because I will be honest, I was getting anxious this week. And I know that on the Monday, I'm just going to be like, I'm sorry, you want me to do what? My mind's not going to be there. So I'll take the Monday off to kind of get into my own head and get ready for this. And then I'll go in on Tuesday for the procedure. And I was told that I will be first one that morning to have it done, which is great. And then because each procedure can take anywhere from like 4 to 6 hours to do. It's not quick. And then I will come home on the Wednesday, and then I am off until the following Monday, which will be kind of nice. So nice little break. So yeah, so I'm not upset. I was saying to my mom on the phone that the very first time I had this done, back in 2007, so what, 13 years ago, I was the emergency case. I went into heart palpitations on either late on a Sunday night or early on a Monday morning. And my mom came with me down to the hospital, and they admitted me relatively quickly. My heart rate was sitting anywhere between 120 to 140 beats per minute. And I sustained that. It did not drop below 120 for a week. Almost a week, like 4 days. So I sat like that in a hospital room for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the Thursday. And they knew on the Tuesday that they were going to do this procedure, this ablation. But he only does it once a week. Unless it's in a major emergency. But that's generally, this isn't the procedure you do for a major emergency. There are other things that they can do to bring your heart rate back down. You know, they can do what's called a cardioversion, which I've also had done about a half a dozen times. Not fun either. Where they essentially restart your heart using the paddles. No joke. Yeah, I've had that done 5 or 6 times. It's fun. You're completely out for that, believe me. But anyway, like if it was an emergency, that's what they would do. But, you know, if you're sustained in a certain heart rhythm for a long time, which I was, by the Thursday night, if I remember correctly, by the Wednesday night, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't walk. Essentially, your heart is running at such a pace. It's like you've been running a marathon for 72 hours. Your body's eventually just going to, like, you know, I'm tired, leave me alone. So I know that there was someone booked. There must have been, because he books in advance quite a while to do these procedures. And I didn't think that they were that popular. And so I know that there was somebody else scheduled, and he told me that they asked somebody to rebook so he could get me in on the Friday, and he did. So I know someone did it for me, so I will happily do it for somebody else. You know, and it's not even like I could say, oh, come on, you know, blah, blah, blah. They're still not going to do it. They're going to make you rebook. So the only pain was that I then had to call, I mean, not like calling my brother and my uncle were pains, but I had to call my brother and, you know, sorry, Friday's a no-go. Can you do it on the 28th? And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. And then, you know, my uncle, the same thing. And so my brother's driving me to the hospital in the morning on the Tuesday, and my uncle's picking me up on the Wednesday. So that's super awesome of them, because my family is great. I did ask the anesthesiologist if I could drive, and he said we really don't recommend it because they like you to be off of anesthetic for at least 24 hours before you get behind the wheel of a car. So I'm like, no, I was just asking. Besides the fact that if I took my car downtown and parked it, it would cost me, no joke, probably $50 to park my car for 48 hours or 24 hours. And that's a little ridiculous in my opinion. So yeah. So anyway, lots of yapping in this one. Oh, this is a much longer clip than normal. Well, that's okay. You guys missed the first 3 days. So, you know, essentially we were playing catch up. I'm just drinking water in case it's not vodka. I do have to go to work tomorrow. That was the only thing. I'm like, oh man, I gotta go to work on Friday. Other thing, I'm not really going to mention it. You will probably hear more about this in my next vlog. Not my next clip, but my next week's vlog. I may have some good news coming down the pike for me personally. Again, I don't want to say anything. I'll leave that till next week. But I can share some good news, Garrett? Garrett got a job yesterday. He'll be working again, so we're very excited about that. So yeah, so that's all I'm gonna tell you guys. I will talk to you guys all tomorrow. Oh, I'm so excited to be doing this again. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys then. Bye guys. Hello everybody, happy Friday. It is the 10th of January and it is about 6:15 at night. I just got home. I had to make a quick pit stop after work at Walmart to pick up some stuff for Garrett and for dinner. I am going to be making in a few minutes these, you get them frozen in the frozen food section. They're pizza, but they're on like a panini, not a panini, but like a crusty roll bun instead of like pizza dough. They're to die for. They are so good, like on a baguette. Dr. Oetker, I think is the brand name. I really like them. I think they're super duper yummy. So I'm going to be having that for dinner because it is Friday and it's like, you know, Friday's pizza night. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to make my dinner in a little bit, but I thought I'd sit down and chat with you guys first. I do have a little mini one book haul to show you guys that I alluded to yesterday. So yeah, so I'm super happy. I'm so glad it's Friday, you guys. I have been waiting for Friday since Monday. One of my customers, we were talking on the phone today, and he says, everybody always seems in a better mood on Friday. And he says, oh, TGIF. And I said, oh, I agree. And he says, this was a long week. I said, I agree. And he said, you know, the first full week back after the holidays. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's absolutely right. It really is. It just felt like I don't know, is it you guys too, but it feels like Christmas was months ago. And it was literally like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Our tree has been down for, I think, 2 weeks now because, as I mentioned before, we were redoing our living room area, so I got my little bookshelves all set up. But the tree's been down since then, so yeah, it's a little crazy. But anyway, yeah, that's really all. I don't have much else to share with you guys. So let's talk about what I have been reading today. So, oh, and I don't know. I feel like, I generally don't like, hey, look at me. But I'm really happy with my hair today. I've been pinning it up lately because the bangs are falling in they're not bangs, they're like that long, but they don't tuck, and my hair is so thin and floofy that I find pinning it up and it keeps it out of my face, which I can still hear my mom from when I was a kid. Get your hair out of your face. It drove her crazy when I would constantly be pushing my hair out of my face, and she'd come over with me and pin it back. Anyway, sorry, that was a side note. So what have I been reading? So today I finished a book on my way to work, which is always exciting. I finished listening to Still the One by Jill Shalvis. Every time I listen to a Jill Shalvis book, I'm like, it just reminds me again of why I love her writing so much. This book was delightful. I talked about it a bit yesterday. So it's the relationship between Darcy and AJ, and Darcy had been in like a previous book, like 2 or 3 books previous. She had been in a really bad car accident, and they didn't think she'd walk again, and she'd been going through major surgeries, and now she's going through PT, like physiotherapy, to help her, and she's regained the use of her legs. She can walk. Not the best. She's never, as she even said herself in the book, she's never running a marathon, but she can walk. I mean, she still has pain. She still has nights where she can't sleep, and essentially the entire book is the relationship between her and AJ, who is her physical therapist, and they kind of have a hate-to-love relationship, and it's delightful. Darcy is one of my favorite characters that Jill Shalvis has written. She's so spunky, and she's got so much heart and so much drive, and she actually gave me an idea for a tattoo. I know tattoos are not everybody's thing, but as you guys probably know, I have a couple of them. But in one part of the story, she's getting a tattoo on her back because she has a massive scar on her back from like a back surgery that she had after the accident. So she had like a inspirational quote, essentially, written in script alongside that scar. And I kind of love that idea. I've got one on my back shoulder. I'm not talking about the one up here, my zipper, as I call it, on the front. But on my shoulder, like from this shoulder blade across, like down in an arch, and it goes down to back here, was my first surgery. And it kind of goes like that. And I would really like to get something very similar, like have some sort of, I have a couple quotes in mind, but to have that written just very simply along the side of that scar, I think would be really neat. So yeah, a book gave me the inspiration for a tattoo. That's always exciting. Not a quote from the book, but something that the character did. So yeah, I really liked it. I haven't rated it yet. I'm going to do all that later on, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with at least a 4.5 star rating on this one. There's a new rating kind of thing that I've seen from another booktuber. I cannot remember the booktuber. I will leave it linked in the description box below. So Sarah, while you're editing this, get that information so you've got it to post. Leave myself little notes while I'm doing this. But it's called the CAWPILE, CAWPILE, but each letter stands for something, and it's like characters, action, I don't know, intrigue, writing, enjoyment. I think the last letter, the E, is for enjoyment. But essentially you give each one of those, and she does a whole spreadsheet up, and it does the math for you. Now, I altered the living daylights out of it because I do give half-star ratings, and she does not. So I altered it to give half-star ratings. But still, I will give absolute credit to her because it was her idea. But anyway, you plug in a number from 1 to 10 in each one of these, like the C, the A, the W, whatever it happens to be. And you plug in a number from 1 to 10, and she gives you kind of a cheat sheet of what the numbers, 1 to 2, it's like, yeah, not so much, and on and on and on. From 9 to 10, you absolutely loved it, kind of an idea. And then it adds them all up and divides it by 7, and it gives you a star rating out of 5, which I think is pretty awesome. It's kind of a fun way of looking at it because you know, I notice like when I'm reading books and like this one, for example, like I finished it and I'm like, I liked it. You know, but what did I like about it? Yeah, it was Jill Shalvis, which I love. So obviously my enjoyment factor is going to be a 10, right? But, you know, was it her best writing? Was it her best characters? As I said, Darcy was one of my favorite characters she's ever written. So that would probably get a 9 or a 10. But it'd be interesting to see where everything else kind of falls in that list, right? So yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being a 4.5 star. Probably pushing more to a 4.5 star just because it's a Jill Shalvis and I love Darcy as a character so much. And the relationship between Darcy and AJ was absolutely adorable. Of course, this one gets very, very hot and spicy, which is always delightful. But yeah, I really, really like this one. So other reading that I have done today, I've really only done a bit of reading on Cold Nose, Warm Heart by Mara Wells. I'm about 30% of the way through it now. My goal is to get some more reading done tonight, but my goal is to actually finish the book tomorrow. So we shall see. I don't think that'll be a problem. I am going to bingo with my mom tomorrow morning. Surprise, surprise. But after that, I plan on just kind of chillaxing for the rest of the day. They have been calling all week for a massive rainstorm tomorrow. Rainstorm, of all things. It's supposed to be like 8 degrees, plus 8 degrees here, which is double it, which is 16, add 30. It's about 45 Fahrenheit for my American friends. So it's going to be not warm, but not freezing cold. So we're actually going to get a ton of rain. They said something about the fact that we're supposed to get 4 months worth of rain in a single day. That's crazy. So luckily it's not snow. But I plan on battening down the hatches and just kind of hanging out inside. So yeah, so that is all my reading stuff. But before I, jump on to anything else, I, of course, because I finished another book that was on my TBR, I get to open my next mini skein. So this is for, of course, Still the One. Let's see which color we got. The other two are over here. I haven't added them in yet. That's my weekend stuff, I'll probably get that done tomorrow. And oh my gosh. Clearly I had the Halloween ones that I think I've shown you guys before in another video. Look at that. Is it? No, it's browns and greens. It is browns. Is that a purple? No, it's more of like a gray. But that's really pretty, you guys? So that'll go next into the blanket. So I will put it over here. So I know when I'm sitting here, I can just grab the next one as I go. So that's 3 books finished off of my TBR, plus a couple others. So that takes me up to 6 books finished so far this month. So that's exciting. So now for the book mail. So as I mentioned yesterday, with my Back to My Childhood books, I got thinking about it, and then I heard about this. I'd heard about it before, but it kind of jumped back at me because I heard somebody else talking about it. And it's a readathon hosted by, oh my gosh, TN All the Books and the curly-haired reader. I think I might be wrong on that. I will leave link to both of their channels in the description box below. And they're doing a year-long read-along of this series. And as I said, I am completely embarrassed because as a young Canadian woman, when I was younger, I did not read this series. And I'm pretty sure it was probably recommended reading at least when I was in school, and I still didn't read it. My best friend loved this series. She read all of them. She also read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and all those, but I never read like the classic children's books. I read the more popular children's books. I read The Babysitter's Club. I read Sweet Valley. I read Nancy Drew, But without saying, I'm sure most of you know what I'm talking about, Anne of Green Gables. And I decided to purchase this edition on Amazon because it is gorgeous. Yes, I know I can read it for free on the Kindle. I totally know that. But can we just talk about how adorable that is? There is a box set of this, but I didn't have the money for the box set. So what I'm going to do is, I don't think all of them are available anymore on Amazon Canada, but I know that they're available on Book Depository. So if I enjoy this one, I will go on and buy the next ones in the series. So the way the readathon is going, or read along, excuse me. Sorry for the shadow. Garrett's walking in front of the light source. Now he's ducking. He's so funny.
I don't think so.
Yeah. My aunt gave us this new cool light the other day, and it's bright. Garrett's been using it for his 3D printer. So anyway, yes, don't shine that in my eyes. It hurts. It takes battery, so it'd be great in a power outage. But anyway, if I enjoy this, then I will go ahead and buy the rest and follow along. So the read along is one book a month, and I think there's 7 or 8 books in the series, and so that'll cover 7 or 8 months. So along with my other Back to My Childhood books, like as soon as I'm finished reading Dawn and the Big Sleepover, which I will probably finish tomorrow because I read about 2 chapters a day, then I will start Anne of Green Gables. So the goal is it's supposed to be done by the end of January. So I'm going to have to see. I mean, it's only the 10th. I've still got 21 days. So I will see, you know, how many chapters are in here. Unfortunately, they're in Roman numerals, which I have no idea. I know nothing about Roman numerals. But yeah, it's 364 pages. So I could probably even break it down by page count. But this is just, I just thought it was so pretty and so whimsical. I absolutely love it. And then the side, like and then on the back, it continues with that beautiful, you know, and then it says number 1 at the top, so you would know which one it is in the series. I really do hope I like this, you guys. I know this is a series that is beloved by so many people. It's a Canadian children's classic because, of course, it takes place in Prince Edward Island. I live, you guys are going to start Google searching now where I live. I live 5 minutes away from the Lucy Maud Montgomery Public School in Toronto. And I still have never read the series. I used to watch, when I was a kid, on the CBC. How Canadian of me. On the CBC, I used to watch Road to Avonlea. It was on at night, on Sunday nights, I think. I didn't particularly love it, but I did watch it, and I think that's a different series by this author. Is it called, like, Avonlea or something like that? I can't remember. I mean, I was just little when not little. I mean, I was, you know, 8, 9, 10, something. I can say, though, that I read Little House on the Prairie when I was a kid. I read that entire series because we had a box set of it at home that Mom and Dad bought. But I think that one's geared to a slightly younger audience, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'm totally interested in this one, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I will probably be starting this on Sunday. So I'm going to see, as of Sunday till the end of the month, how much I need to read every day, because this is a little bit more intense, or a little bit more than a Nancy Drew or a Babysitter's Club book, let's be honest. That's probably why I shied away from them when I was little. But anyway, yeah, again, it is stunning, and I love, love, love it. Like I said, I really hope I enjoy it because I kind of want a reason to buy the whole series. So we shall see. But anyway, yeah, so that is about all that, oops, sorry for shaking the camera, about all that I have for you guys. I already filmed it, but I'm going to show it to you guys next. I completely forgot. I was grabbing way up top of this bookshelf that you guys can't see. I've got the bag that has all the minis in it. Pulling that down to pick out the one for Still the One, and I realized that underneath it was my new calendar for 2020 that I hadn't hung my calendar yet. I had put it up there for safekeeping. So it's the Magical Cats calendar. I was looking on Amazon like back in August, and I saw it and I said, yes, I must have it. Yes, go ahead and laugh. I buy my calendar in like August because if not, I will not get what I want. So I bought the calendar, and it's been kind of sitting up there. So I will show you guys a quick video of January's, and I'll try and remember every month to show you the next month's, like when it comes up, because the graphics or the design on it are gorgeous. It's done by an artist, and she does all these paintings of these mystical, magical cats, and I just love it. So anyway, that's all I have for today, guys. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye. So here is my 2020 calendar. This is January. I will try and remember to show you guys every month the image. They are super adorable. The Magical Cats calendar. I love it so much. So yeah, so it hangs up here beside my bookcase because I just thought that that was a nice place to put it, that I could see it. We have another calendar in the kitchen that is from the Toronto Humane Society. One of those free ones that they send you after you donate, and I try to donate when I can. So that's hanging up in our kitchen, but this is more of an artwork piece than a calendar. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye. Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, the 11th of January. I am sitting in my car heading off to Bingo to meet my mom. Just a little check-in for this morning. I was saying yesterday how they were calling for this ridiculous storm today, but over my shoulder, if you can see it, the sun's actually trying to come out. So I don't know. We had a lot of rain last night, like a lot of rain last night. It was crazy. But they said the bulk of the rain should be hitting tonight into tomorrow, and the temperature is going to drop, meaning it's going to be freezing rain, which is going to be fun. So after this little outing now, and I do want to go to the library too, so I'm going to try and remember to film while I'm at the library. I want to take some books out. I just have an urge to go and see what's on the shelves. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of thinking last night and, you know, the night before about my TBR and all the things that I have on my TBR, and I might have a little chat when I get back later on today about how I think I'm going to change it around a little bit. I'll get more into that later. But anyway, like I said, so this storm's supposed to come, but I don't know. I'm like, my mom and I were talking yesterday about going to bingo today, and she's like, well, we'll see what the weather's like. And I'm like, it's rain. You know, it's not that big a deal. So anyway, yeah, so that's about all that I have to check in with you guys right now, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is later in the day on Saturday. It is about 1:30 in the afternoon. I've been home for about a half an hour. So I went to bingo this morning with my mom, and then I went to the library. And I'm sorry I didn't film at either location. Can't really do anything at the bingo hall, and it was raining outside, so I didn't even get to do like an exterior video or anything like that. And like I said, it was raining, so I kind of big rush into the library, do what I wanted to do there, and leave. So this isn't really a reading update per se. This is more of a sit down and chat with a cup of tea. I've got my tea. I made this when I came in. It is the white cranberry bark from the David's Tea advent calendar from this year, because you get 2 servings in each day. So I'm still working my way through like the leftovers. I essentially put them all in a big Ziploc bag, and I'll just, when I want a tea, I'll reach in blindly and just pull one out and have it. So I'm drinking this one. It's really good in my Niagara Falls mug from Starbucks. Anytime I see these, if I'm somewhere different, I buy one. I've got Vermont, I've got New York, I've got Toronto in Canada, and I've got Niagara, because we're not far from Niagara Falls at all. I'm about a 2-hour drive from Niagara Falls. So when I saw this one when I was there, I had to pick it up. But anyway, it really is yummy. But anyway, like I said, tea and a chat. So it's book related, of course. When is anything in my life not book related? So I wanted to talk, I think I mentioned in my quick little clip this morning about the fact that my TBR is going to be changing. There are not going to be nearly as many books on it as there used to be. And something that I've come to realize over the last couple months, and I actually started to get panicky about it earlier this week, was the amount of review books that I have. This is mostly my fault. I have no one to blame but me. NetGalley is just far too easy to click request. And as such, I actually had 28 books for the month of January as ARCs. And that is ridiculous. Absolutely, I'm not complaining. I am not complaining that the publishers are nice enough to send me these and to, you know, approve my request and what have you. But there is no way I can read 28 ARCs in a month and I wouldn't be able to read anything else that I want to read. And I don't like, as much as I love having my very structured, this is what I'm reading this month TBR, because I know a lot of people are mood readers and they will stand in front of their shelves and be like, what do I feel like reading next? I can't do that. That's not me. I need that bit of structure. But I do like having wiggle room. While I like having structure, I don't want it to be too confining. If that makes any sense. And I'm sure it probably does to you guys. So the issue that I was having was personal, was with me personally, that I thought these publishers have sent me these books to review, and I wanted to get them reviewed in the month that they were due, like the month that they were coming out. And I've now started to hear a lot of people mention the fact that they have a NetGalley backlist. And, you know, it's books that they haven't gotten to yet. They might be a month or 2 old. They might be, in some cases, I've heard people say they have a couple years old. And I figure I've reviewed a little over 150 books on NetGalley. So, I mean, I'm good. Like, it's not like I don't care about that rating thing. If you're unfamiliar with NetGalley, the more books, like, they give you a percentage based on the number of books that you've like gotten approved for versus the number of books you've reviewed, and they give you a percentage amount, and they say you should be over 80. I think it all depends on the individual publishers. And so I'm good on that aspect. And I am getting direct messages from publishers. Forever is one that I'm dealing with, which is fantastic. Harlequin is another one that I'm dealing with. And they will message me, email me personally, like I am on their mailing list essentially. And, you know, hey, do you want to review this book? Kind of an idea. And you can say yes or no. There are a couple I've turned down being like, no, I'm just really not interested in that. But a good number of them I am. So what I've given myself permission to do is, A, I am not randomly selecting books on NetGalley now. I am kiboshing unless I go through it, I see something I really want. So like going forward in the months to come, I will not end up with that ridiculous number again. You know, I'd like to keep it around 5 to 10 books a month. The problem is that oftentimes you'll request something, forget you've requested something, and then, you know, the month before it's actually going to be published, or even a few weeks before it's going to be published, you get an email from the publisher going, hey, you know, or from NetGalley saying, hey, you've been approved. So like all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I had this book to read in this month as well. So, and that's a lot of what happened with January, is that I requested a lot of these books. Like I'm talking back in September, October. And then all of a sudden at the end of December, I'm getting nailed or hammered with these emails from NetGalley. Hey, you've been approved, which is fan-freaking-tastic, but it's highly stressful. This isn't my job. I don't get paid to do this, to review. I would love to. I would love nothing more than if somebody wanted to pay me to sit at home and read and review books. That would be my happy place. But that's not the way these things work. So, the way I look at it is I'm going to start to prioritize going forward, because I have, I think, 20 books for February and about 15 for March, and then April it's like 2 or 3. So there you're starting to get the drop. And going forward, I'm no longer requesting books that come out in January, February, March, and I'm trying to keep track of how many I've requested versus how many I get, so that way I know, and I'm not going, okay, I've already requested 10 books, you know, like for May, for example, you can't request any more until you get, you know, and if I'm just gonna, that's how I'm gonna work it, because if not, I'm gonna get stressed. So what is going to happen is I am, like I said, prioritizing my NetGalley reads. And I am going to try and stick around 5 or 6 books a month. If I get a direct email from the publisher, because again, I'm part of their mailing list, asking if I want it, that one will go to the top of the list. If it is a book that I've requested on NetGalley that I've been approved for, i.e. The Honey-Do List by Christina Lauren, that one is going to get on my prioritized list, you know? Like, I'm not saying that I don't want to read some of the books. I do want to read them. I just need more time. And again, I am absolutely okay with having a backlist now. I feel as soon as I came to this decision, actually it was last night when I was actually laying in bed staring at the ceiling, and I came to this decision. You guys do that too. You know, you have these like, okay, I'm allowing myself to not be perfect. And I felt so much better. Oh my gosh, it was like a weight being lifted off my shoulders. I know, it's the silliest thing. It's not like it's my job. It's not like, you know, anybody's twisting my arm. But personally, you know, I agreed to do this, and it's not going to get done in necessarily the timely manner that publishers perhaps wanted. It's still going to get done. And, you know, I'm still going to get review copies. I'm still going to be reviewing and stuff like that. It's just, you know, and once I get through the backlog, I should be okay, which I'm hoping to do by the end of the year. And then 2021 will be on a clean slate. I'll have this new process in place for reviewing and stuff like that. And I can say no, and I have to let myself say no as well, because that is a big deal. So that's part of the TBR change. I'm going to discuss this ever so briefly when I do my TBR in February, but I just thought I'd kind of give the longer explanation for you guys. I think most of you watch my vlogs anyway. I posted the question. I think I mentioned this on my first day. I posted the question, and I just checked it the other day, and I had like 50 replies, and every single one of them was like, yes, please. So you guys want the vlogs. So here we are. So anyway, the other thing that is going to go away on my TBR is my RRC challenge. Now, I am still going to be doing it. I will be participating in the RRC challenge every single month, as I have for the past 4 years. I absolutely love it. But what's been happening over the last 5 or 6 months is that I will sit here and I'll do my TBR and I'll tell you guys, hey, I'm going to read this book for this prompt and blah, blah, blah. Every single month, those have changed. That has always been subject to change. So instead of me going through that entire list and telling you guys what books I'm going to read, is what I think I'm going to do is when I go ahead and finish the book, I'll say, hey, finish this book. And it was, by the way, I read this for this prompt. So that way I don't have to feel locked in to those. Again, it's like I talked about it, I should now do it. Does that make sense? So, and I know this is just for me, and I do these videos because I love doing them and I love talking about books with you guys. And nobody's holding me to anything, you know what I mean? But it's still, it's the way my mind works. So I'm not going to be discussing which books I'll be reading for what, but I will be discussing it as I go through and read the books. So the way it looks is that I am now, like, I think in January I had 23 books on my TBR. I think about half of them are not going to get read in the month of January. Other books are being read, but those ones are not. So in a way, I think in a way everybody's a bit of a mood reader. Like, oh, I really don't feel like reading that right now, but I really want to read this. And I want to give myself that bit of wiggle room. So the other thing that is going away, and this is, as far as I'm concerned at this point, a permanent removal, is the Bookshout challenge that I decided to do this year. So originally for 2020, like, I knew about midway through 2019, doing my 40 Years of Harlequin project, which I love so much, that I wanted to do something else with Harlequin in 2020. My original plan had been to read through some of these books over the course of the year. I have, and you guys are only seeing, and I've said this before, a small snapshot of this bookcase. It is a tall bookcase. It's about as tall as me. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves. It is about yay deep, and it's double stacked. Every shelf looks like this. Like, you guys can't see the whole thing. If you saw my bookshelf tour during my Vlogmas, then you will have seen this whole thing. Or no, it wasn't during Vlogmas. It was my New Year's Eve vlog. You will have seen the whole shelf. So my goal was to read through some of these. And then I decided, I'm like, I've got all these books on Bookshout, or that I bought through the Harlequin website, that I really want to get through those too. So I decided, I thought that would be a little bit easier, blah, blah, blah. Because at the time that I made that decision, this was not organized yet. And I think that was my big caveat, is that I wanted this organized before I did that. So I knew where I was looking for books and what books I, had. So anyway, there have been problems, major issues with Bookshout. I think you guys know, I've mentioned it a while ago when Harlequin started using it. It is essentially what they use. If you have not bought books from the Harlequin website, ebooks from the Harlequin website, used to be a couple years ago that if you bought a book, you could download it and read it on Overdrive. And I love that. Overdrive never gave me a problem. A lot of the times I'd bring it into Adobe and I was able to transfer it to, another device to read it on. And I loved doing that. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, I guess it was, they launched what's called Bookshout. And it is not their product. It is a product developed by somebody else. It's used by William Morrow, I think. It's used by HarperCollins, which is the parent company of Harlequin. And essentially, if you buy ebooks from their website, you have to read them on this Bookshout app. Since I've had this app, I went through a whole month where it kept crashing on me every time I tried to read a book. I am still running into problems with it now. Like, I will read up to like chapter 5 in a book, and then I'll put my tablet down. And like the next day I go to pick it up to read again and I'm back at chapter 1 or I'm at chapter 12. It's ludicrous. And the major issue that is affecting people right now who use this service, because you have no choice. If you buy an ebook from Harlequin, you have to use this app in order to read it. It's the only way you can read it. And that really frustrates me. At least, and like, it's still Kindle, but it's still, if you buy a book, an ebook from Amazon, a Kindle book, yes, you can own a Kindle device and read it on that device. But if you choose not to own a Kindle device and you instead have an iPhone or an iPad or a Samsung phone or a Samsung tablet like I have, or even a Nook from Barnes & Noble, I believe a Kobo, there's certain ones that you can download apps on. As long as you can download the app, you can read on any device. Now, Bookshout is the same, but it's just such a horrible app. I'm sorry. I'm as a consumer, this is horrible. So, like I was saying, the big issue that they are having right now, I was reading up on this on the Harlequin Connections Facebook group, which if you haven't joined is a great group to be a part of. A lot of people are complaining about it because what has happened is people who buy subscriptions, like you can get a monthly subscription to any of the different imprints. Like for example, the special edition, like I have behind me, you can either get it as a print book subscription or an ebook subscription. So the ebook subscription is, I believe, slightly cheaper. So what happened is that at the beginning of the month, like on the first of the month, you get charged for your subscription. And if it's an ebook subscription, those ebooks will go to your Bookshout whatever account. That wasn't happening. It is now the 11th, and as far as I know, it still hasn't been dealt with. Unfortunately, and my heart goes out to the customer service reps at Harlequin because I know it's not them. I am a customer service rep myself, of course, for a different company. But I know what it's like when something has gone wrong that is beyond customer service's control. And you've got these angry people going to you because you are the front line. So I feel so bad for them on what they're probably having to deal with because people are legitimately angry. They have contacted Bookshout and Bookshout's like, yeah, it's kind of not our problem. Or, talk to Harlequin about getting a refund. We don't recognize these books or something like that. I don't know. I don't know technically what it is. I know Harlequin released a statement yesterday on the Harlequin Connections website or Facebook group. And they've also now, if you go on their website, there's a banner across the top stating that they now have stopped people from being able to purchase certain ebooks because these are the ones that they're running into problems with. Even if I went ahead and used my points and bought a book sometime since the 1st of January, I would not be able to read it on Bookshout. So, and a lot of people are saying the exact same thing. Get rid of it. Cut ties with them. Clearly, they're not doing you any favors. Go back to how it used to be. Go back to Overdrive. Because you did not have the problems that you had with Bookshout. So, that's a long, convoluted explanation. But that is why I am not continuing on with that challenge. Because I do not want to support that app, essentially. Because it's garbage, as far as I'm concerned. So, eventually when they get all this fixed and decide what they're going to do, I might revisit, but as for right now, no. So instead I'm going back to this. Exactly as I've been doing now, although I'm not going to be sharing this with you guys. I'm not going to be like picking 4 books and showing them to you because I want the relaxation of being able to work through them at my own pace and not feel like I have to finish them within the course of a month. So as I finish one, I will pick the next one. As I always have one. So for example, excuse me for reaching off camera, you guys. But right now I'm reading this one, The Doctor's Texas Baby. So when I finished my last book, I already knew I had this one on the docket next. And when I picked this one, I immediately picked the next one. I went ahead and picked the next book I'm going to read. You guys want a sneak preview? An old school Nora Roberts. So what I do, and I think I mentioned for these ones, is that I have all of these on a shelf on Goodreads, and I sort the shelf randomly, like I hit randomize, and whatever book comes up at the very top is the next one I'm going to pick to read. So that's how I'm going to be kind of slowly working my way through all of these, because the vast majority of these I have not read. I've just been collecting them essentially. So anyway, that's what is going to happen instead. So at the end of all of that explanation, essentially what my TBR for February is going to look like is I'm going to talk about, of course, my Stacking the Series challenge, which I am doing this year, my TBR jar challenge, which I am loving doing. Although that was for my Stacking the Series. One of the series got changed. The one with two books actually got changed because the books that I was needing to read for that, it was the Whiskey and Wedding series, I think. The books are not available at my library. They are not available on Scribd or anywhere else, and I'm trying not to purchase a lot of books, especially because it wasn't a series that I absolutely was enamored with. So I've changed it out, and I'll talk about that when it comes up again. So I'll still be doing my TBR jar, Stacking the Series, my TBR jar. Like I said, 5 or 6 review books a month, my top picks. I'll be picking a couple of what I'm calling NetGalley backlist. So for February, it'll probably be 2 books that were published in January, but I will, be trying to get to them. And I will also be doing, I'm trying to remember everything now. And I think that's it. I think in total it comes up to something like 17 books that I'll be sharing with you guys. The Harlequin book. So I do the Harlequin anticipated reads every month, and I still want you guys to pick me a book because I want to read a new release every month from Harlequin. I think that will be a lot of fun. So I will definitely be mentioning, having you guys pick me one still every month because that'll be fun. Because one of the things that I've really been missing doing over the last few years with having this very structured TBR and stuff like that is something ridiculously simple, is going to the library. I love going to the library. If you guys gave me the choice and said, here's $50, you can go to the bookstore, or here's no money and you can go to the library, I would actually choose to go to the library because I can continuously get new books or new to me books and they don't cost me anything. It is an amazing service, and I am so fortunate to live in Toronto and have access to 100 different branches of the Toronto Public Library. I was even thinking that if these vlogs continue into the summer, I might even take some time and take you guys to some of the different libraries to show you the different branches, because each one is different, architecturally and stuff like that. There's one by the Scarborough Town Center that is gorgeous. I mean, it's like a wall of windows. It's beautiful. So I would kind of love to do that in the summertime, kind of do a library tour of some of the libraries in Toronto. Like I said, there's over 100 of them. So I could be doing this for years. If I do one a week in the summer, it could be years and years and years. So I just thought that would be kind of fun. But anyway, so like I said, I'm really fortunate to be to have a library card for this great library system here in the city. So yeah, I want to be able to read some more library books, and I'd like to maybe at the beginning of every month go to the library and just walk around and see what I see. And that's what I did on my way back from Bingo today. Well, the whole reason I originally went to the library. Woo, that was fun. Garrett's laughing at me right now, I think. I just totally knocked the table. Sorry, you guys. Okay, I'll probably end up cutting that out. I am so sorry. When I grabbed the library books, I completely knocked my table and my camera went flying. So I apologize. So anyway, as I was saying, I went to the library after Bingo. And originally I went because I had to pay a fine. I was cleaning out my car, organizing some stuff in the trunk, and I came across a library book that I may have forgotten to take back about 3 months ago. Oops. So I took it in and I said to the girl, I'm really sorry. I was cleaning out my car and I found this and I'm sorry. I must have put it in my car to drop off at the library, but I totally forgot because I just had it in my hand. I didn't have it in a bag or something like that. I do have a tote bag that, I'm now going to hang by the door to put my library books in so I can remember to take them back. And I might start doing like Karen does from Rather Be Reading and go once a week or something just to make sure I drop off books. But anyway, so she laughed and she's like, no problem. So she checks it. She goes, oh, it's actually been listed as, lost. And she goes, so I'll manually check it back in. It still cost me $14. My fault completely, it is what it is, but I'm now cleared with the people at the library. I don't owe them any money anymore. They're not going to be sending me angry letters or anything like that. I never did get an angry letter. You wouldn't get an angry letter anyway. It'd be more like a very polite, do you have our book? So, of course, since I was there, I'm like, let me walk around and see what I can find. So I found some books I'm going to try and read this month. Because like I said, about half the books that I shared with you guys on my original January TBR are not getting read right now because I'm just not in the mood for them. And I want to read other things. And I'm excited about these. So I thought I would show them to you guys. So we're going to have a little library haul. So isn't that fun? Garrett's just playing his game over here, I think. And the cats are all flopped out. It's a lazy day today, you guys. Perfect day for sitting in and reading. We're doing some knitting or whatever. So first of all, I was so thrilled to find this one. I found You, and I did find it, by Lisa Jewell, New York Times bestselling author, of course. I have slowly started to become a big fan of hers. In 2019, I've read 3 of her books, and I kind of want to read all of them now, like Pokemon, got to read them all. Yeah, I don't know what this one is about. I don't even really want to read the back of it because I don't want to be spoiled. But she writes some great psychological thrillers, and I just kind of flipped through this one real quick, and it looks like there's dates on the front of some of the chapters, 1993. So I think, excuse me, I've got the hiccups, that this is one that goes back and forth in time, which is what most of her novels have done, and I really like that. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. You know, it was so funny. Karen from Rather Be Reading mentioned in the comments to my added to my wish list video that I did last week that she was, oh, I'm an influencer. And in a way, she was one of the people who influenced me about the library, because every month when she does her TBRs, she always talks about which book she has checked out from the library. And I want to start doing that as well, because I think that'll be awesomely fun. So anyway, I Found You by Lisa Jewell. Looking forward to this one. It is a thriller, as I said. This one, I couldn't believe I saw it on the shelf, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this just came out in July. And it is the new Debbie Macomber, Window on the Bay. So I decided to pick this one up. It looks gorgeous. I think one of the other things I love about libraries is that fact that I get to read a physical book, which is something, yes, I have all of these, but there's just something about a hardcover or a trade paperback that I just absolutely love, but I can't buy them because A, these things can be expensive, you guys. Let's be realistic. And B, you know, I'm going to read this and enjoy it, but is it a book I'm necessarily going to keep on my shelf? Probably not. So, you know, this way I get the best of both worlds. I get to read it as a gorgeous hardcover, and then I can take it back and it doesn't take up shelf space. So, yeah, the new Debbie Macomber, this is actually a women's fiction novel. Her novels are really, really amazing. I'm a big fan. I haven't read one of hers in a while. Usually I stick to her Christmas ones. I think this will be the first one that's a non-Christmas one, so I think it'll be great. What's it say here? When a single mom becomes an empty nester, she spreads her wings to rediscover herself and her passions in this heartwarming novel from #1 New York Times bestselling author, Debbie Macomber. I think it's going to be great, and I cannot wait to read this one. And last but not least, I grabbed this one. This is an author that I am a huge fan of, and this is kind of, I think it's considered the prequel series to the Bridgerton series because it actually takes place before, like it's their ancestors, I think. I could be wrong on that. But this is Because of Miss Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. Isn't that a gorgeous cover? And again, in a hardcover. I'm pretty sure when this was released, you know, it was just in paperback, but that's the beauty of the library, that you can get some of these books on hardcover. Yeah, so this one, it's the first in the Roxby series, I think is what it's called. So yeah, it's not terribly long. It's under 300 pages. So this one should be a relatively quick one to get through, but yeah. I cannot wait. I think this one's going to be fantastic. And yes, hardcovers can be a pain to carry back and forth to work. And I know I hear it all the time from other people. But, you know, I still think it'll be great. And I'm really, really going to enjoy it. So yeah, so there's my little mini library haul. So anyway, guys, sorry for the little longer tea and chat. Cheers. I hope you enjoyed this. It was probably a little rambly. It was probably a lot rambly. It was probably a little bit all over the place. But instead of me doing a 20-minute discussion before my next TBR, not like it matters to you guys, but I just thought a couple things I just want to talk about in a way, like airing out my sins when it comes to the e-arcs or the arcs. Yeah, I don't know how some people do it. I don't know, you know, do some of you who get a lot of arcs, do you just not read all of them? Do you put them on a backlist? What do you do? I'm curious. Like, you know, like I said, I've heard a bunch of people talking about it and the fact that they have a backlist of e-arcs or NetGalley books and they're okay with it. So I'm going to be okay with it too. I'm still reviewing, you know, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 books a month for NetGalley. That's not too bad. And I will get caught up by the end of the year. So that's my goal. And I think that's pretty good. And yeah, so anyway, guys, that's all I have for right now. I'll probably check in. I will definitely check in again later to share with my reading for today, what I got read today, and also my knitting, because I haven't shown you guys my knitting yet. But that'll be at the very, very end of this video. As I said, for those of you who are not interested in the knitting, you can completely bypass that and continue on your merry way. But I will be back to talk about that and my reading a little bit later. Bye, guys. Hey, guys, it is later on Saturday night. It is about 5 to 11, and I am getting ready for bed. I am exhausted. I was sitting there watching BookTube and reading, not at the same time. I like to switch back and forth, watch a video, do some reading, working on my blanket, and multitasking. And I'm just like, I'm exhausted. I need to get to bed. And the sad thing is, after I talked to you guys last, I went and had a nap. So clearly I need to catch up on some sleep over the weekend. So that is what I'm going to go do very shortly, but I wanted to sit down and end this vlog and share with you guys the bit of reading I got done today. It was not a lot, to be honest. I read pretty much the only thing I've read today was Cold Nose Warm Heart by Mara Wells, which is a review copy, a NetGalley read, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I think I've already talked about it in this vlog, how, you know, it's this developer who's coming in to tear down this old building that all these seniors live in, and Riley is our female lead, and she is kind of the maintenance person for the building, and she lives there. Her grandmother lives there. Her grandmother's lived there for as long as she can remember. And because her mom used to be Riley's mom used to be I don't know if she still is, it really isn't mentioned. She worked on a cruise ship, or she worked on cruise ships. So she'd be gone for like long stretches of time. So Riley was kind of raised by her grandmother in this building, and she really considers it like home, and they're like a family. And right behind the buildings, there's this like abandoned park where nothing's really going on. So it's become like a dog park. You can let your dog off leash and run around, and you meet other people in the community and things like that. And now this developer, Caleb, is coming in, and he wants to tear down the building, put in brand new, very high-end, very fancy condos, and pave over the dog park and turn it into a parking garage. So that's kind of it's very much an external struggle between the two of them. It is internal too, because even though they have an attraction to each other, she's supposed to hate him because of what is happening. So yeah, I'm about 45% of the way through it. My goal had been to finish it today. That's not going to happen. But I would like to finish it tomorrow. So in my next vlog, you guys should hear my thoughts on it. I didn't get any audiobook listening done today, even though I was out driving for a little bit, like going to my mom's and coming back and stuff like that. But I just didn't put it on. I was listening to the radio. Again, this is, you know, audiobooks. I love them. I think they're fantastic, and it's a great way to enjoy a book. But you know, I don't pick them up as often as I used to. So it is what it is. That's fine. I plan on starting it tomorrow. I do enjoy listening to them while I'm doing my editing. Like when the video is doing its thing, I'll listen to audiobooks. So yeah, so I'll probably be doing that, because I would normally like watch a booktube video or something if I have that downtime and I'm sitting at home. But because I'm using my laptop to do something else, I don't want to overpower it because it's older and I desperately need a new one. So I don't want to break it, essentially. You know, have it just go, okay, I can't do this anymore, and just completely die on me. I get a lot often now, it'll just suddenly drop the Wi-Fi in the house just for no reason, just for funsies. I'll be working on something or doing something, and all of a sudden, there goes the Wi-Fi. Luckily, it's never actually happened when I've uploaded a video, thankfully. Now that I said that, let's knock on some wood here. Sorry. Suddenly also, I'll just get black screen. It'll just like, the screen will just go, and then it'll come back like 2 seconds later, and that's really frustrating. So yeah, one of my goals for this year is to put money away and get myself a new laptop. Luckily, they're really not very expensive, but I want a full-on laptop. I like having the full capabilities. I do have my tablet, but I like the full capabilities of a laptop. It's just me, you know, that's what I prefer. And you can get them for like around $300-400. So that's really, at the end of the day, that's not that expensive. So anyway, where was I going? Oh yes, so I'll be listening to my audiobook tomorrow. And I'm going to be starting, oh my gosh, by Carrie Lindell. Can't remember the name of the book. Doesn't matter. You guys will hear about it in the next vlog. Or feel free to check my Goodreads, because I'm sure I'll have it up there on my currently reading. And I did not get any more read today of The Doctor's Texas Baby. I did not pick this up today, but I will definitely pick it up tomorrow and get some reading done in it. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying this one. It's just that, you know, I was out all morning. I didn't get home until it was almost 1 o'clock by the time I got home. And then I sat down and chatted with you guys for a bit. And then I did a few little things around here. And then I went and laid down for like almost an hour and a half. So then by the time I got up, it was after 4. And then I went and got dinner for Garrett and I. And then I kind of relaxed on the couch. So it was almost 5:30 before I sat down and actually started doing some reading today. So, you know, for a Saturday, I didn't have a lot of reading time. Saturdays for some reason just tend to get away from me. I think because that's the day I tend to do like any of my running around and stuff like that. But I already said to Garrett when I came back from picking up dinner that based on what's happening weather-wise right now, I will not be leaving this apartment tomorrow. It is raining like you wouldn't believe outside. We have a lake on the sidewalk in front of our apartment. I think I mentioned it in an earlier clip, but I heard somebody say that we're supposed to get like 3 or 4 months worth of rain in like a 24-hour period. And the problem is that the temperature has dropped drastically since it did earlier today. We're now almost at the freezing point, so all that standing water is going to freeze. And a lot of it is just standing water because the ground's frozen, because guess what? It's wintertime. So yeah, I do not plan on venturing out far tomorrow, if I do at all. So I hope we're going to need to later in the day because we do need to pick up some groceries. I need lunch for next week for work, so that's a thing. So anyway, so tomorrow I plan on having, after I edit my video, I do want to film a couple videos tomorrow. I may or may not, though. I haven't decided yet because I could always do them after work, because usually what I do is I bulk film on Sundays. I'll film my weekly wrap-ups because they would go up on a Sunday, and then I film my other videos, but I'm like, but I'm not filming a weekly wrap-up this week. I'm doing the vlog. So I thought that maybe I would just wait and give myself a complete lazy day. Sorry for the shadow. Garrett keeps wandering in front of like my light source. So anyway, so that's my game plan for tomorrow, but I will talk about that in the next vlog, of course. So yeah, before I let you guys go, as promised, I will show you my knitting update for those of you who are interested. If you are not interested and you're just going to click off the video now, I thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. But for the rest of you who are sticking around, let me show you the knitting. So, oh, I just dropped the yarn. So like I said, I was partway through a square. There it is. Sorry. So, again, sorry for leaning off of camera. So I was partway through a square. I'll finish this off tomorrow, but let me pull it out here and show you guys. So I've decided, you'll see this also in my socks. I'm in the mood to knit on double points. Sometimes I get that. I knit almost everything on a circular needle. And every now and then I get the urge to use my double points because I do like them and they are fun, but I like to switch back and forth because I guess you get bored of doing something one way. It's almost like reading in a way, you know? I'll read so many on my e-reader and then I'm like, oh, I really miss reading a physical copy of a book. So you'll pick up a physical book, you know, to put it in a reading context. So I got, sorry, Bernard is sneezing over here. I've got 4 squares put in this week. Not a lot, but I only had 4 books that were in my January TBR that I finished, because for those of you who might not know, I don't know if I mentioned this in this vlog yet, but oh no, I would have, because I pulled the squares out to show you guys. So that's the last one you guys saw. That's how I remember, is I put the little progress keeper on there. So these are the ones that I finished. I got this really pretty one done. It's a really nice purple. I have no idea what any of these yarns are. I got this one done up here today too. You might notice it looks a little bit bigger than the other ones because I made a boo-boo. I pulled my double points out and I didn't realize the size. I went up a needle size when I did this one. So it is actually slightly bigger than the rest of them. You're not going to be able to tell very shortly, or when I get the row on top done, because it'll pull it in. But right now it's a little bit extra stretched out because I did use a slightly bigger needle. So I'm a little annoyed at myself for that, but now I'm using the right size needle. Then I got this one in here. This blue one was one of the Scooby-Doo ones, and I'm pretty sure this is the one for the Mystery Machine. I think this is the Mystery Machine one, because I think the one that's for Fred has more white in it, because I think his outfit was like, what, blue shirt and white pants? Or am I thinking that the other way? And he had like the ascot thing going on. I don't remember. I didn't really like him very much. I liked Daphne and Valerie, and of course Shaggy and Scooby. And I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes still reference that show. We were watching, I was marathoning last night when I got home from work. I watched 4 episodes of CSI. I was just in the mood for it. And, you know, I have the CBS All Access. So, you know, I was like watching one after another. And I guess the ending of one, just, you know, the way it was ending, I looked over at Garrett and I said, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you silly kids and that dog. Your childhood memories transcend for years, don't they, guys? So anyway, the square I'm currently working on is this one. It is a brown and a green, and that's what the little ball looks like. But yeah, so I'm working on this one. There's my needle in there. And yeah, oh gosh, you guys gotta see these needles. So these are some of my favorite needles. I really, really like them. They are Addi, A-D-D-I is the company name, and they are called Flips. So one side, I don't know how easy you guys are gonna be able to see this, but one side of the needle is really pointed. The other side is a bit more blunt. You can't see it on camera, but you can feel it with your fingers. One side is more pointy and the other side is more blunt. So they do that if you're working on some really thin yarn. These are a US 0 size. If you're working with a lace weight, this would be brilliant, like this more pointed to pick up the stitches, whereas the more blunt side is just your everyday kind of needle. The problem is they're metal, and I tend to grip my needles tightly. Now, I don't knit tightly, but I grip them tightly. Now, you might have seen it a bit in that one, but it's a little bit more pronounced. I've actually bent these. I think if I gave them enough force, I'm not going to try it, I could probably break them. But like I was showing Garrett, he goes, they didn't come like that. And I'm like, no, I have done that. I have clearly bent these all to heck. It's just the way I hold them. And I think this one that's super bent, I've tried to bend it back and I clearly was not able to do that. But that's okay. They still work. It's not a big issue, but I don't know. I'm not trying to force them at this point. I would like to try and fix them, but these are the only set of zeros, of US zeros that I have in double points. So, oh, I do have another set, but they're square. Of all things, they're actually square. It's pretty cool. But I don't like knitting with them. I bought them at Rhinebeck like 3 or 4 years ago, and I tried them once and I'm like, I'm just not a fan. So I actually went on Amazon tonight because I think I mentioned we won a little bit at bingo, and I actually ordered a new set of needles, a new set of US zeros. So not these ones, but from another company. The company that makes the, excuse me for reaching again, you guys, that makes the, they're called the Zings. They're the Knitter's Pride, I think. They're Zings. I love these so much. This is like one of my favorite circular needles. I want to get a whole set of these, like an interchangeable set I think would be fantastic. So I ordered this in a US 0, like as a double point in a US 0, but these same needles, because I really, really love them. So that'll be for my blanket, and I can maybe retire these bendied up or put them away for backup in case I ever need another set. So that's the blanket. I have no idea how many squares I have in here. I meant to count that beforehand, but I'll let you guys know next week because I kind of like to keep track of how many squares I actually have in this blanket. And my needles are sitting in my cute little sheep needle keeper. So let me put this back. So, and it's great because I love these. I bought this one on Etsy from a friend. Not a friend, but from a former podcaster. I don't know if she still has a podcast. It was called Little Bobbin's Knits. It was many, many years ago. I don't even know if she has a shop anymore. But my friend Mandy also makes them, and I have a bunch from her too. But and I'm using one of hers for my socks. But you can actually, like, it's buttoned, and so you can keep your needles in there and keep your project in there, and then it doesn't slide off the needles while it's in the bag. Isn't that neat? So yeah, so I really, really like that. So let me put the blanket over there. I will properly put it away when I'm done all of this. So the other thing I want to show you is the sock. So I showed you guys the sock last week, and I was doing the pattern running through that was designed by my friend Brandy. I've knit that pattern twice now, and I love it every time, and I thought I really wanted to try it on self-striping yarn. I love the way it looked. Unfortunately, the issue that I started to notice this week is that I think this yarn is slightly thicker than the yarn I've used before. Even though it's all sock weight yarn, there's still, you know, differences within the yarns, the different companies and things like that. And it was really, the pattern was really giving me a ridge on the top of the sock. So I'm doing the foot. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it up the leg yet, but I've ripped the entire thing out and I'm starting again, and I'm just doing just plain knitting, round and round and round. No pattern, no nothing. Maybe because I don't like the feeling of texture on my foot with my socks, and I felt that this was going to give me that feeling I don't care for. Even though it's not on the bottom of your foot, it's on the top of your foot only, I think it would still bother me, so I decided not to do it. I might do it up the leg though. I haven't decided yet, so we shall see. So again, I'm using a little needle keeper here, This one is designed by my friend, or made for me by my friend Mandy. And I know it was made for me by Mandy because it's hot pink on the inside. And she loves the color pink. So yes, I got this one. So casting it back on, this is what I have done on the sock. And as you can see, I did move it to double points because I'm just in the mood to knit on them. So these are my carbons, which are my absolute 100% favorite. They are a little pricey, but they are such amazing needles. So well made. I absolutely love them. They are carbon fiber, like the needle itself, and it's really neat. At first when you're knitting on them, like when you pick back up a project, like when I pick this up tomorrow, they'll be a little grippy on the yarn, but as they warm up in your hands as you're using them, they move a little bit faster, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, so the yarn is from Night Owl Fibers, and it is one of her self-striping yarns. Of course, as you can see, you're getting the stripes in there, and the colorway is called Dashing Through the Snow. Today it'll be Dashing Through the Rain, but it's Dashing Through the Snow. So I'm really liking that. So like I said, I might continue with the, I actually think I will continue with the running through pattern once I get to the leg, because the texture on the leg won't bother me so much, but it would kind of bother me on my foot, especially if I'm wearing shoes or something like that. And I wear my socks like every day. They are socks. They are the same as, you know, the pack of 12 socks you buy at Walmart. You know, I treat them exactly the same way. I just wash them, you know, in my bathtub and hang them to dry because I don't trust them in the washing machine. But other than that, I wear them the same as I would wear regular socks anywhere else as I'm wearing them now. I actually don't even wear commercial socks anymore. So yeah, so there's my socks. That's why I need so many pairs of them. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys is my sweater. I have not given any more love to the shawl that I was working on, but I will probably show you guys that next week. But I'm still working on my sweater. This is the Dottie cardigan by, who's the designer? Stephanie Jessica Lau. L-A-U, I think is her last name. I'll remember to link in the description box below. So I've gotten quite a bit done on this, but it doesn't look, like much. So I'll hold it back here. So there's where I was the last time I showed you guys. It was probably a couple weeks ago, and here's what I've gotten done. This is still just the back panel. It's going to be really long. And yeah, I should actually get the back panel done this week, I'm hoping. And then you knit this in pieces, and then you seam the whole thing together. I think after you do the back panel, you do the sleeves. I think you do the sleeves. But I really, really love the texture pattern of this. I think it's gorgeous. My goal now is my friend Andrea over at the Cat Lady podcast. I don't know if she announced it because I haven't watched her latest podcast or not. But I haven't gotten to it yet in my watch later list. But I know she was talking in our little friend group that we have on Facebook. Sorry, Goran's destroying our furniture. Our little friend group on Facebook, that she was thinking about starting a whip along or a work in progress along, like to get projects done. And I decided I really want this done by my birthday. My birthday is on the 5th of March. So I've got about 6 weeks-ish or so to get this done. I would love it done for my birthday so I can wear it to work. That's my goal. So we shall see, but I am absolutely loving it. This is done in bulky weight, which is brilliant, considering the other two things I'm knitting are in sock weight. So, you know, two different ends of the spectrum, essentially, on these, you know, much bigger needles. These are a US 10, as opposed to a 0 on the blanket and a 1, a US 1 on the socks. So that's why this feels like it knits up really quickly, because it does, you know. But yeah, I'm really loving the texture pattern on this one. So this is fun. And I really like the yarn. This is from Knit Picks. Knit Picks is my go-to for like everything. It's their Brava Bulky, I think. Brava Bulky. So it's 100% wool. So I've got to be real careful with this one, that I do not want to stretch the bejesus out of it, because it's meant to be a massively oversized sweater to begin with. If I stretch it out, it's going to be ridiculous. So, and the colorway I believe is called Wallaby, which is kind of a really neat gray brown. Like the color that you're seeing on screen is pretty accurate, and I think it's a nice neutral. It's a different neutral, you know? So yeah, so that's all the knitting I've gotten done this week, or all the crafting I've gotten done this week. And that's really all I have to talk to you guys about. Probably, I'm realizing now I've had a bunch of like 30-minute clips and stuff like that, so it'll probably be a longer vlog, but you guys are used to that. I was looking back over my old vlogs to see how long they were, and I mean, some of them were, you know, getting close to 2 hours, and you guys still watch them, so bless you. I love you guys for that. And like I said earlier, you all really voted on this on my YouTube page, that you wanted to see these back. So I'm glad to be here. I'm going to finish off my hot chocolate, my white hot chocolate from the Keurig, just from a K-cup, in my Dunkin' Donuts cup that I got when I was in the States a couple years ago, that I love, because I do love Dunkin' Donuts. And yeah, that's it. I will talk to you guys in my next vlog. Thank you all so very, very much for watching. Any comments, questions, anything at all, do you just want to chat, please post in the comments below. I am happy to talk with you guys, books, crafting, anything else that you want to chat about. And yeah, until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.